Nice earrings, Debbie. Good morning, everyone. I just started the class with a compliment to Debbie, but good morning. Let's go ahead and start our class. So grab your chair. We'll have waters nearby. Have your chair, your yoga mat will end up towards the end of the class on the floor with some floor stretches. But that's gonna be like the last 5-10 minutes of the class. So let's go ahead and work with our facial exercises a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and just yeah, open your mouth as wide as you can. Turn your head up, keep that mouth open, and then shut your jaw by bringing your chin towards your nose. You just feel a nice stretch on the length of your neck. And we'll do about 8 of those. Okay, so on your own count, open, close, and through all these movements, you want to make sure you're doing a comfortable breathing. You're not hyperventilating. Just take nice, long, deep breaths. Two more. Last one. Very good. All right. We'll start with some soft palpations, so a gentle massage or just gentle touch, following our earlobes down our jawline. It's very gentle. Okay. Let's go from the side of our eyes to the side of our face. Just 2 fingers, just gentle touching. Does anyone have any of those masks with like the red light that's supposed to like rejuvenate, it can even say the word, make your skin feel healthier and reduce the aging process? Does anyone have anything like that? I'm just curious if that.
They remind me of the Silence of the Lambs.
Terry, you're awesome. It's too, yeah, with the guys like all strapped in. So let's go ahead and puff up our cheeks with air and move that air bubble left to right. Moving that air bubble just left to right. Your cheeks might get a little sore. Relax, let that air out. Just catch your breath. We're gonna do the same, but our upper lip and lower lip. Okay, go ahead and begin. Very good. All right, next one is just working on our diaphragm and also on our facial um, movements as well. So inhale, deep breath for about 4 seconds. Small windpipe, and exhale through that little windpipe. All of it until you have nothing left. Okay, get a little bit out of breath, relax, and repeat another 5 times. More. Last one. Very good. Right, we're gonna go ahead and start with our shoulders, and we're gonna break that up with our, oh, there's this giant mosquito that I can't seem to catch. Let's go ahead and do our snow angels. We're just gonna break up our shoulder movements because there's so many, and it's one of those joints that just gets tender. My left shoulder got really sensitive after my upper body workout on Monday. So I completely forgot about it until I just mentioned it now. So I'm kind of glad, that sensation went away. Morning, Maria and Teresa. It's funny how that works sometimes. It's like you have some aching, nagging pain, and it's bothering you for like a week or two. Let's do one at a time. So all the way up, and then bring that elbow all the way down. And then, yeah, it's bothering you, and, it's just very annoying to deal with. And then suddenly, it's like the next day, and it's like the evening time, and you're like, oh shoot, like that pain is gone. I didn't even think about it. And, ah, almost. Let's do our other arm. And then there's some stuff that just doesn't go away until we actually, do something about it. Which my calf has been feeling better, but I'm avoiding jumping jacks or bunny hops. I'll get there. Very good. All right, we're gonna get on our feet. We're gonna do our Romberg stance. Remember, feet together. You can be barefoot if you like. Then incorporate some balance work here. Get this setting. All right, feet together. And we're just gonna stand still right here. No movement for a little bit. Hopefully this isn't too challenging for you. All right, let's look left to right. This will count as our neck stretches. We're gentle, and with every turn, try to rotate a little bit further. Up and down. Close your eyes. Remember, if you don't feel safe, just open your eyes and separate your feet. You don't want any accidents here. So anytime you feel unsafe or a movement's causing pain, you can always just skip it. Nice deep breath. And open your eyes. Very good. All right, let's do some slow high knee marches. So I'm just gonna have my hands at my side, and slowly I'm bringing that knee as high as I can. I don't want to do it too fast because then that reduces the amount of time that we're on one foot. So the idea is to get that range of motion by driving the knee as high as you can, working on that hip joint. And by doing it slowly, you're on that 1 foot longer. So testing your balance there. Okay, if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, what I'm going to ask you to do is to do a high knee, and then extend that lower leg, and then back. That's going to activate the hamstring a little bit more. Very good. All right, we're going to walk the tightrope. So find the longest straight in your room, in your area, and then just one foot in front of the other. This is very easy for you. Then you could just get on your forefoot. So just on your metatarsal area, that's the soft pad of your foot and your toes. Once you reach the end of that straight, then you could go in reverse. Yeah, I have my dentist appointment this afternoon. Just a regular visit, but it's always an experience at the dentist. I try not to opt for the little shot they give you sometimes or the gel to numb your mouth because then eating dinner is a headache afterwards. So, all right, we're gonna do a little bit of strengthening here and balance. So, doing the Romberg stance, feet together, and we're gonna do a standing Jane Fonda or a hip adduction. Okay, so just toes pointing the camera or the screen and then back. So you don't want to rotate your foot. You're gonna make sure that your toes continuously are facing as your eyes are facing. So my wife started decorating for Halloween already. Have you folks started that yet? Switch. We have a giant, um, like Mickey Mouse jack-o'-lantern thing in our front house. Let's do about 4 more. Remember, try to keep your torso as upright and straight as possible. Very good. All right, next, let's go back on the chair. Continue with our upper body stretches here. Okay, so we did our rows here. So let's go ahead and just sit on our left hand, bring that right hand over and pull on that left side. Very good. Sit on that right hand now. Keep that right shoulder fixed. And pull. Okay, so yesterday and today, been getting up around 4:30, 4:15 in the morning to get about 20 minutes of stretching. And then I go for like a short, well, not short, it's like a 30-minute run, 20, 30-minute run. I like it, you know. I feel pretty accomplished by 6 in the morning. Let's go ahead, both our hands, top, back part of our head, and gently pull your head down, chin towards your chest. Very good. All right, we're gonna go ahead, kind of make our face together, right in front of us. Head down, chin down, and then push with your fist in front of you. Bring the head even lower and come back, reset and repeat. Good, again. Again. Two more. Hand down, push. One more time. Awesome. All right. Motion here. We're gonna do shoulder circles. We're here, shoulders up, forward, down, back. On reverse. One more. Very good. All right, sit near the front of your chair. We're gonna do our cat scratching pose. The legs are split a little bit, have some room for your torso to fit between your legs. Reach up towards the ceiling, lean forward, and keep those arms straight all the way down. And back. Take up. Reach, reach, reach. Good. We're gonna do 8 of these. Four. 5. 6. 7. And one more. And 8. Very good. Get on our feet. We'll continue with the balance work. And just going back and forth. Probably the largest. Get some water. I'm thirsty. All right, so tandem stance, right foot in front of our left. Does anyone have like quite a bit of trouble with this stance here? Is this always a challenge for any of you? I think we've gotten better at this one. All right, let's look left to right. This always throws me off a little bit. My ankles become a little bit more active. And then look left to right. Up and down. This one's not so bad.
I can't do it without support.
Oh, so you need to hold on to something?
Yeah.
I have a mosquito. I found something on my leg. All right, so we're here and let's close our eyes. So again, if you don't feel safe, open your eyes, stagger your feet. Yeah, but what helps too, if you need a little bit more assistance, is just have that chair nearby. You could just keep your hand over that backrest of the chair for Doesn't even have to be far. You could like lightly be touching it just so you know you have support there. And then open your eyes. Okay, so we're here. And elevate your back leg. Okay. So nothing too high, again, about the same amount if you were having the chair to your side. So maybe about like half an inch, that toe, but all that weight is on that front leg. Okay, and from back here, what I want you to do is do half a circle, okay, and back. So half a circle, so it comes forward, goes back. Mhm. Very good. Just kind of walk it off a little bit. That right foot, that arch could get a little sensitive, so just take a few steps to loosen it up. You get a cramp. Has anyone gotten a cramp on their arch before? It's a terrible feeling. So let's go left foot in front of our right now. Yeah, I think the worst cramps I felt have been on my hamstring. Um, I've literally collapsed down to the floor, getting off of like a low chair or a low couch, and then I go to stand up, and it just kind of doesn't like that sudden movement, so I fall into the floor. Um, I've gotten more recently the one in the chest. The first time I had that, I thought I was having a heart attack because I didn't know what was going on. But I just felt this huge pull. Um, and it's always on my left side too. So, but yeah, but that was not the best feeling. All right, side to side, left, right. Up and down. Right, close your eyes. I'm shaking a bit more in this stance. Open your eyes. Now elevate that back foot. Again, half an inch off the ground. And let's do that semicircle forward and back. You're doing this pretty smoothly, not too much trouble, then you have pretty strong ankles and arches. All righty. Get back on the chair. Went through most of the balance movements already. So, all right, we're just gonna have our hands here, almost a front raise, so hands come up. Back here. Stretching the pecs a little bit, shoulders. The palms are open. Very good. Opposite shoulder tap. Just tap that opposite shoulder without moving your elbows. So you want to keep your elbows pretty glued to your side. So all of the movement is going on from your elbow to your wrist or your toes, your fingers. So it's working on a little bit of external rotation of that forearm. Internal rotation. External rotation would be this one here. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of external rotation. So door openers, elbow at your side, go out. Not too much range of motion because our joint is limited there. But you should feel, that lateral delt and your bicep fatiguing a little bit. At least it is for me. Fatiguing. And switch. Elbow at your side. And then out. Okay, we do this. This is one of our lifts, the motion. So this is the Poliquin lateral raise. So from here, hammer curl, extend up, and extend the elbows. Okay. Curl, elbows up, extend. Cool. Feel that on my upper back too. Right there, that full extension. Two more. I just realized that Halloween lands on a Friday this year. It's kind of fun. So, all right, let's make our way down to our legs. So we're gonna go with hip openers. So right leg comes out. And again, main thing here, don't allow that knee to drop. So if it's dropping on its own, have your hand there to prevent it from dropping. Just kind of want close to a 90-degree angle here. So far, I don't think I'm dressing up for Halloween, but I wouldn't be surprised if my wife already has a costume for me. So let's switch. I usually hand out candy and she takes the kids out. The cousins come over into our neighborhood. So she goes with the kids, but 2 years ago, she had a whole Woody outfit from Toy Story for me with the hat and everything. The hat's right there. And she's like, here, put this on. And I was like, oh, okay. We're doing this. So she was Julian was also Woody. He was little. It would have been cute if he was Buzz Lightyear. And then my wife was the pink shepherd. I forget her name. But yeah, but she's also a character in Toy Story.
Is it Princess Peach?
No, it's
All right, next up.
the lady, the woman shepherd with the pink outfit, Bo Peep, I think, yeah. Right ankle on that left knee. Oh, Julian,
You have a costume. I'm sure
Yeah.
your wife has your costume ready for you.
yeah, I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if like she dresses up as Peach, Julian's Mario, and then I'm like Bowser or something, like I get dressed up as like the dragon or something. And she would paint my face green too if she has some makeup for it.
Yeah, I think you sound just like my son. He just, okay, his costume's just waiting, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
I think they're doing Peter Pan this year.
Push down on that knee, gentle push down. 1 year when I was in college, I dressed up as the Incredible Hulk. So I just went to the thrift store. I found some purple pants and I cut them up. So, that's what he wears. He has purple pants and he's green. So then I went to Walmart and I bought some safe for skin green paint. And it was just finger paint, really. So let's bring that knee up. So I did, yeah, I bought like 3 of those containers, probably used like 2 of them. And yeah, I was completely green, like everything. Just painted myself green. That was in Chico up north in late October. It's pretty cold. So yeah, it wasn't the most comfortable outfit. And of course, it starts raining. So I'm going from like a party to another party with my friends. And yeah, and my paint's just coming off as I'm walking around. So by the last party we got to,
Serious?
no one knew what my character was, because I was just some dude without a shirt wearing purple pants, or shorts. So, but that was fun. Oh, good times. This one's a little tighter this side. Gentle push down on that left knee. I think I just realized we have to use our second day pass for Legoland that expires next month. And I think this weekend might be our only available weekend. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up at Legoland um this weekend. Let's see. All right. Let's go ahead, sit towards the front of the chair, lean back, bring that knee up to your chest, and extend that lower leg. Switch. Very good. All right, we're gonna stay in the same position and now do a leg press motion. So knee comes up and we extend and then drop that heel and come back. So it almost looks like you're riding a bicycle here, but just one leg at a time. So the push extends that quad and the pull activates your glute and your hamstring. And switch. Alrighty. Good. All right, our legs are pretty warm, so we'll go with our last balance exercise, and that's gonna be our chair squat. So again, without using your hands, just the strength of your legs. Be wary of your balance. Let's just do 8 regular ones. So no hands, just come up, sit back down, make sure you're in a safe spot. And never do these with a chair that has wheels. Last thing you want is that chair to slip away. Two more. And what I find myself doing that makes these a little bit easier, that's I just stab my heels into the floor, and I feel like I have the best support there. I try not to put most of my force on my toes because then I feel like I'm falling forward. Okay, next is going to be single. So again, 8. So we've done these long enough. So either extend or elevate your leg now. So you feel confident, elevate that leg. And come up. That seems challenging, then just extend it. And most of your weight is also on that leg that's completely bent. So again, the closer your heel is to you, the easier it's going to be. The further it is or elevated, the more challenging you're going to make it. All right, the same thing, just give your leg a little bit of rest. You don't want it to cramp up. All right, gonna go with that right leg now. So left leg is elevated. Ooh, that one seems more sturdy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. Couple more on the chair, about 3 more, and we should be good. So this one is going to be the lower leg rotation. So remember, just elevate that leg and try to bring your lower leg. So again, your lower leg from your knee to your ankle, rotate it out as far as you can, and then back in. Okay, so this is really testing your knee joint, your quad, your hip. If we can't do too much more than this here, and we probably need to strengthen our hip a little bit more. Just keep your hand right here at your side, and you're gonna feel that muscle joints activating. Very good. All right, left side. So elevate that leg a few inches off the ground, and then just rotate out, back, out. If it's raining or the breeze in the event. Okay. ABCs on each ankle. So just trace the letters of the alphabet. Which is anyone currently dealing with an injury? Something that happened like in the last week? I'm gonna take my shoes off for this very last one. So this is just gonna be working on our arches. So feet are flat on the floor. This only works if you're barefoot. So you're gonna pull your toes towards your heels, just scratching at the floor, strengthening those arches. And so hopefully everyone's good. Hopefully no injuries. Okay, and now keeping your feet flat, try to do the same motion, but without using your toes, okay? So now this is activating your arches a little bit more. Very good. We're gonna do transition now to our standing movements. We're gonna do the hip stretch using the bottom part of your chair or the tall area of your chair. And this is where we're holding onto a post or a wall, and we're just gonna go over and over and reverse. So we'll do, let's do 5 of each movement. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Moving to the other side now. Do the other leg. 1, 1, 2. To keep your torso as upright as possible. 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. All right. Very good. Let's go ahead and we'll conclude with our shoulders. Okay, so go ahead and grab your foam roller, your broomstick, have some water. Debbie, do you foam roll often with your foam roller?
No,
No. No, you and me both. Yeah.
I don't really like it. It seems
Yeah.
really harsh on my
Okay.
muscles.
Yeah, I only use it, of course, when I'm being reactive and when something's a little bit tender, but I should use it a little bit more. So, but yeah, I understand. Yeah, this one could be a little firm. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's go ahead and begin left to right. So just warm up that shoulder. It was part of my morning warm-up routine. But to be honest, it's probably the last thing I do. Um, if I had to rank what I do first, let's work on that left shoulder. So bringing it up. So when I'm working on my calves, I prioritize using my slant board first, and I do some steps on that. And then I do some heel raises up using the wall. Let's go 30 degrees forward. Then I use some heel raises. Then I'll do some toe raises. I started doing as well now that I'm, changing my form a little bit. I'm trying to activate my glutes. So now I do like a stretch for my glutes. And then I worry about my hips. And then if I have a lot of time, 60 degrees left over, then I might remember. And it's not even that I'm gonna do it, it's like if I remember as well. So there's a that's how forgetful I am with foam rolling sometimes. There's that pop. My shoulder always pops at that 60 degrees one. Let's go 90 right in front. Does anyone foam roll periodically or daily?
Only with you.
Right towards the back. Again, that left shoulder is getting guided back. Very good. All right, right shoulder now. So let's start getting it to the right side. And gentle, especially if you've had an injury, just be gentle with it. If it looks like I'm doing a little bit aggressive, it's because, yeah, I'm not dealing with any shoulder pain right now. I don't think I could have done this comfortably on Monday. But yeah, I think it was just sore. 30 degrees. I think I've mentioned this before, maybe a while back, but 60 degrees. My wife does have a photo booth business. So if you know anyone or yourself included that's looking for something fun for an event or a party, let me know. I know she's been more active with it and she's pretty excited about it because I think she's gotten more calls about it. So pretty inspired right now. That's going forward. She just did a quinceañera on Saturday. And then I think she has another one in November and then like a company party in November too. And let's go back. All right, so this is where we go behind the back. Let's bring it behind the back and up and down. And then lift back, so now we go lift. All right, and we're just gonna finish off with some of our standing stretches that we do typically for our warm-up. So let's just go ahead and do big hula hoops, giant circles, just to finish on a good note with the hips. We got the Long Beach Marathon this weekend. I'm not doing it, but I know a couple people that are. So our team got asked to work the event, not volunteer, but to work it. So the shift initially was from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m., so 6 hours switch. And yeah, so I signed up for it. I was like, oh, I'll do it with the team. And then on Monday, we got an email that they want everyone there at 3:30 in the morning.
Whoa.
And I said, never mind. So I was like, I'm about to ruin my weekend. I'll still go out there and support, but I think the race starts at 6. I don't know why they want people there so early. All right, and then let's go with the deep squat. So just drop down as slow as you can. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a hot.
Ay, teacher.
Oh, is that your team? You're leaving?
¿Eh? ¿Ya acabó?
Casi.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, yeah, we're just stretching.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And rise. Oof. High five, everyone. Good session. Oof. Thanks, Debbie, for being live with me in person.
Thank you.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah. One of those stick rollers. I have
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that you could kind of really grind that out. So,
They turn independently.
oh, yeah, you got a good texture one. I have one that looks like 4 golf balls with like a couple inches. It's terrible. Yeah.
What do you do with that?
So you just kind of almost like a foam roller. So you know, with the foam roller, it's static, so you're rolling it. So this
Oh.
one, you actually grab it, and then so yeah, so you just do that. So what I recommend, Debbie, it's if you're using it on your legs, do it towards you. You don't want to just grind down and up, and because the idea is to get blood to flow towards the heart. So you want to like pull it towards you.
Sorry.
No, thanks.
Yeah. All right, folks. I'll see everyone
Thank
next
you.
week. Bye, Carmen. I hope you're feeling better. Debbie,
Thank
thank you. Everyone else, have a
Thank you,
good
Julio.
weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Teresa.
morning.
Bye, folks.
Thank you, Julio.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Olivia.
Sorry,
Bye,
bye-bye.
Mr. Ahmed. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.